4,000 new friends here in the last like week, which is crazy. And so I thought this would be a fun time to just kind of like reintroduce myself and like my journey, just kind of like chit-chatting, like we're on a little FaceTime together. I started my private practice, my solo private practice in 2020. I was building the private practice in 2019, which is an important thing to know because as I was building it, I had so many people telling me virtual therapy would never work. No one's gonna ever see a virtual therapist. The outcomes aren't clinically like as promising or as progressive as doing in-person therapy. Fast forward to 2 months after I launched my practice, March of 2020, obviously virtual therapy became quite popular in its time. I love to add that anecdote to my story because whenever new things come out like in the therapy world or in the business world and people are so hesitant to try them or adapt them, that is my favorite example of like things are just hard to acclimate to and to change to like in business and in therapy, but sometimes that just naturally progresses into being the norm, and I think it's something that we need to be comfortable with like trying and experimenting. Anyway, started my private practice in 2020, had my little pandemic baby in July of 2020, and I started building my group practice at the end of 2020, hired my first clinician in 2021 and built it from there. Present day, I have a group practice all virtually still with 6 clinicians, 2 interns, and 2 admin staff, and I myself still see clients as well. I have 4 available spots a week. They're usually full unless somebody cancels last minute. Love my clients so much. I've seen so many of them for 3, 4, 5 years. I still have a couple of my very first clients that I ever took in my private practice, which is like really, really special to me. So fast forward to having my second baby in 2023, I was in the works of developing some kind of guide for folks starting their own private practice. I was helping a lot of my friends start their private practice just over coffee. And finally, a couple of friends sat me down and were like, you should really be charging for this. And I was like, oh, people charge for this? That would be so fun. I love doing this. And so January of 2024, I came out with my guide, A Therapist Guide to Building Your Business, and have just kind of grown the offer suite from there to tailor like what folks really need in private practice. Now I have the community, which is for therapists who are in private practice, and it's just a lovely, lovely place to be for therapists who are growing their practice or just looking to maintain connections and education. Really, like I love this space so much and I love this business so much because I love helping therapists to get into a CEO mindset, to get the courage and the confidence and the skills and the tools and the knowledge and the resources to start their own practice and like really see them thrive in their practice. My main motivation for starting my practice was to be a more present mom, and I have been able to achieve that. Of course, the financial goals are also uberly important, like look around, but I think that there was such a hole in people building their practices based on like time freedom and wanting to balance like being a stay-at-home parent with still being a therapist, because I know so many of us like spent a lot of time and money to be a therapist and love being a therapist. And so I just really love being able to like meld all these things together, and I'm just so glad that you're here with me.